Hey, don't kill a fly. Oh my.
Good morning. Good morning. We are here once again. We're so excited. We're ready to go. We are fired up. We got
Yeah,
some exciting news
that's right.
this week in regards to our shout out. Man, great time of the year. Man, I am the co host, Troy Christopher Moore. We're here with the founder and the president of MooreMotivation, Mr.
Yeah,
Kendrick Moore. Good morning, Kendrick. How you doing this
man, I'm
morning?
I'm I'm great because as you said, we're getting closer to the ceremony, but we just finalized those winners for our shout out today.
Oh man.
So I'm locked in and ready to go. And I look down, sure I got on my imperfect by pop socks too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like
let's
so,
do it,
you
man.
know.
Let's do it,
Oh,
man.
you got on
I
the
got
shirt
the
too.
imperfect shirt, man. Shout out to my boy Los, man. Leslie, man. Imperfect by Pop, man. Listen,
Yeah.
we're here, man. We're just excited, as all of you know, and you great supporters, man. This is near and dear to our hearts. What we've been able to do and accomplish over the years. See
Yeah.
these winners.
Yeah.
So we just want to do our shout out this
Yeah.
week for the HLM winner. So
Yeah.
Kendrick, who do we
Yeah.
have for this week?
So our winners, and again, we mentioned it last week. The end of last week, we put it out. The actual winners, we award 5 winners this year. We got some different ranges, a couple downstate, a couple central state. So our winners of our HLM scholarship for 2026, we got my man Mason Long from the Academy of International Studies. Pahansa Semarakun, she goes to aerospace and engineering. I got to make sure I get all these names right. Catherine Virtue, she attends Fitch High School. Zachary Magner, he attends Fairfield Ward. And Alessandra Tachillo, she attends Fairfield Ludlow. So those are our 5 HLM scholarship
Awesome,
winners
man.
for this year. And again, as I mentioned, Troy, we're so thankful to all of the students for even applying to the award,
Right,
because this
right.
is, like you said, this is this is our life,
Yeah,
like this is life for us.
yeah.
So we're so appreciative, and again to the supporters as well.
Man, listen, the thing of it is, Kendrick, it even makes me even just say wow
Yeah.
about this
Mm-hmm.
is, you know, how many kids we've been able to help,
Mm-hmm.
man, over this,
Mm-hmm.
man, this period,
Yeah.
man. So just really quickly,
Yeah.
if you know the number off the top of the head, how
Yeah.
many scholarships have we given out?
I believe, my quick calculations, we're probably at, I believe, maybe 32.
Wow.
Over the
Wow.
5 years, and as
Wow.
we mentioned, Troy, like this year, just as well, that first cohort of recipients will be walking
We'll
across
be
the
walking
stage.
across
You
stage,
know,
man.
this coming weekend, the weekend after. So,
Amazing.
yeah, oh man, listen, big time from
Amazing.
Yale, UConn.
Amazing.
Man, big time. Obviously, nephew, son, Seth Sweezy,
Yeah.
Johnson
Listen, man.
C. Smith. So, man, like it's to come to fruition. Time flies, but to come to
Yeah.
fruition over four years,
Amazing.
amazing, amazing.
Amazing.
Yep.
Amazing, man. Because you look at this and you see the development, and that's what makes HLM so different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where no knock on no other scholarships,
Right.
but once a kid gets a scholarship from somewhere, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't hear from them.
Right.
Right. We check in with
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
young people, man.
Yeah.
We've been with them from freshman to the senior year, man.
Right.
So just amazing, man.
Yeah.
Amazing, man. To all of our winners, thank you so
That's
much.
right.
And to all the young people who've applied, man, thank you as well for putting in that
Yeah,
hard work,
for
man.
sure.
We're grateful.
For sure. Yeah.
So now let's move into, man, we had a powerful conversation last week.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to us about the feedback we got from last week.
I think that was one of the, we went hard at the sports reference last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then translated it into all areas of life when we talked about life through the mind of a competitor, but really understanding that mentality. I think it's just so critical to understand people that's in that frame of mind and not just off the cuff judge them
Right.
for their seriousness, focus,
Right.
their want of that thing, how hard they go after something. Because if you're not used to it yourself, you might not recognize that mentality, that focus, that silence, where they are mentally, what they're actually going for. So it sparked a lot of conversations across all areas, but that life through the mind of a competitor, like I said at the end of the last one, jump on board.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you talk about increasing your sharpness, focus, discipline, and really going after the thing that you want, there's no better feeling in the world.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So we just, man, like I said, man, we love to hear from our from our supporters and our listeners, man. And it just always amazes us that the diverse messages we get.
Right.
We do this because we love what we do.
Right.
To hear people say how it impacted their lives, man, it just makes it well worth it. Well worth it.
That definitely puts the cherry on top of each week. Even just hearing from one person would be great. But just the different, the types of people you probably wouldn't even think, maybe listening or this thing is going to impact them. But when you really reach deep into these messages, it can touch you in some way.
Yeah.
When you really turn on your listening and align it to your dreams and your life, like you will pull something out of the message.
Right. Right. Amazing, man. Yeah. Awesome, man. So now let's get into this week, man, because we got to be really, really on point with this week because, we don't get to do these in person often.
Yeah.
All right, so talk to us about what we got on deck for this week.
Troy, I was at the car dealership last week getting my oil change. And this is a shout out to my boy Jay Shea. Like, we coached AAU together, man, just a great guy. But he sends me he sends me a text, but it had like a message on it, like one of picture messages or whatever.
Yeah.
And it just resonated so deep, and I'm going back and forth. And the first thing I said to him, I said, "Yo, Shay, this is going to be a podcast." And I wanted to follow. It just hit me. This was the message. A person who is not disciplined cannot be cautioned. I was just like, yo, once I read it, I was like, this is a podcast. A person who is not disciplined cannot be cautioned. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Man.
Yep.
That has a lot of layers to it, man. So talk to us, man. Let's get right into this.
Yeah, so I want us to think about this, Troy, like when we talk about words or when we're giving lessons or when we're teaching things to people and coaching and mentoring them. Words attach to one of two things when you're talking to people. They either attach to feelings of a person or they attach to their habits. So I want us to think about that. And that's the first thing that came to mind because I kind of tried to almost contradict what he was like, man, what other place does these words attach to? But now I was thinking like, man, like that's what he's talking about. Like a person, because feelings change. Feelings are going to waver throughout.
Right.
But when we talk about habits, so a person cannot be disciplined. A person who is not disciplined cannot be cautioned. So basically, Troy, what that message is saying is, if I'm coaching you, if I'm giving you advice, if I'm teaching you something, because you think about it, you ever notice that some people, no matter how much information you give them, they never change?
Right.
Right? No matter what you're teaching them, they don't grow. It's like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And you can be giving two different people the same exact information. One of them gets it, one of them don't. But the key, Troy, to that, sometimes they're not listening, they're not paying. Check their discipline. Because the words that you teach to people, they attach to how disciplined the person is.
Correct.
That's what motivates. That's what's the driving force.
Correct.
That's what gets them to act. And that's why it was, like I said, it was so I'm, like I said, I was trying to like, man, no, what's another way that, if a person It's not. It got to be something else. So no matter how much you caution some people, they'll never get it.
Right. That's true.
No matter how many warning signs they see, they will never get it.
Right.
Because they're not disciplined. So that's this conversation today.
Wow. So now with that, why do you feel that some people hear feedback and grow while others hear the same feedback and they stay stuck?
Because discipline, it's like this filter, right? The more you have, the more discipline you have, the more you can hold on to messages. Yeah. When you don't have discipline, everything that's said to you is like a sift. It just goes right through.
Right.
It just goes right through. So they're not even getting it. So when we're talking about that, Troy, we got to really understand the power of discipline. Mm-hmm. We got to really truly understand it, because we excuse it a lot of times when we're teaching people.
Yeah.
When we're talking about, we think it's about just the content. We think it's just about their understanding of the content, which is a part of it. Right? Because the harder the content, the more discipline it might take to actually get it and actually apply it. But we need to start looking at the habits of the person that's learning it. The habits of the habits. Because this is the thing. I'm talking about this as well. Our habits are more important than skills.
Yes.
Your skills stand on top of your habits.
Right.
And the stronger your habits are, the more you're able to display your talents.
That's right.
Right? So we got to start paying attention to how disciplined the person is, and not just saying, oh, they're smart or they're not smart.
Right.
Get them to understand the importance of discipline, and then you'll understand, man, why are they growing? Why is that kid accepting the messages?
Right.
You look at people's, oh man, because here's the deal. When I'm coaching, Troy, I see certain kids that are not as talented, but they come from really disciplined backgrounds. And when I tell them something, they go try it.
Yeah.
Right. Right away. Right. They go try to apply the information.
Yeah.
I get some kids that are talented. Discipline is few and far between.
Yeah.
They can't hold on to a message, Troy, from the time that I tell them to the time they walk out on the court.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a real thing to truly understand the power when we're talking about habits, but mainly in this case, discipline.
Kendrick, that is so huge when you talked about that, about the skills, right? Because I immediately thought about, like in my era in the mid 80s in basketball. Literally, right now, on today, I can rattle off 5 names that should have been in the league. That should. They had the skills that was just unheard of.
Yep.
No discipline.
It happens all the time.
No discipline.
All the time.
You know what I mean? So that is a powerful piece of what you've indicated about the skills and and the standard on that with the habits, man. So phenomenal. So now, what actually makes discipline, oh man, so powerful in personal growth?
Listen, so we got to think about this. The person that's undisciplined, when you're trying to teach them something, this is exactly why they're so easily frustrated. Because without discipline, your words just sound like noise to them.
Right.
There's no, again, you can be as clear as day.
Right.
But there's no clarity to them.
Right.
They can't hear what you're actually saying.
Right.
Because that distance, that gap between as disciplined as they should be and where they are in that message, it's just like falling on deaf ears.
Right.
That's almost what that concept kind of comes from.
Yeah.
Because you're wondering, why aren't they really applying it? So as it pertains to growth, it's the exact same thing. Like, you got to think about that concept. Like, you want to grow more, be more disciplined. You want more opportunities, become more disciplined. You want to excel at whatever it is that you're doing. Like, just become more disciplined.
Right.
So now the teachings that you get from people, because some people, we talk about it a lot. We can pull a message from anybody because we have the discipline to really focus on what's going on and apply it.
Yep.
Some people, they can't even get a message from the best teacher in the world.
Yeah.
You know? So even from their standpoint, they're viewing what I need to grow. They're viewing that wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They're just solely looking at content and excusing the discipline piece. You have to, it's vital. Cautions, warning signs, anything. Like, that sign says stop. That's a stop sign. That means stop.
Right.
If you're undisciplined, you might keep going.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
You don't heed any warning signs. So that's the part we got to make sure we're tackling first. But we got to truly understand the power of these things called habits. It's amazing that we think about it, and that's one of the first ones of our pillars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as much as we do this stuff, Troy, I don't think anything we do is kind of by chance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, for some reason, these connections are always happening with our work.
That's right.
And then going, so it's like, man, why did you choose that? Why was that the first one that you started to talk about?
Mm-hmm.
I think because it just naturally connected to so many things that we're doing, including this one today.
Yeah.
And so when he sent that, that's probably why it connected so much, right? So just truly understanding that piece, Troy. Where we want to go, we got to just think about where we want to get to, right? And closing that gap reduces the frustration, which increases our learning power.
Right.
You know, it reduce. So you're not just hearing noise when people talking, right? You feel like you actually have the ability to do something. So that's an important part to that to understand.
Man, that's huge, man. So now I want to ask, why do warnings, advice, and coaching fail for undisciplined individuals?
Mm-hmm. So I just want to say this too, Troy. When we talked about that, it's like the messages that we get, the coaching, the teaching, the mentoring, like all of those things. If there's nothing to attach it to, that's another reason why there's no growth. Right? Like you gotta attach the messages to something. So that's the way that discipline comes in. But when you're talking about this, Troy, like, to truly understand this conversation, we talk about all of the filters. We talk about the things to attach it to, but we can ask that why? Like, why do certain people avoid warning signs? You know, what, like, what is the very nature into that conversation as to, like, why? Like, how does that happen? And I was at one of my programs, my Boys Empowerment program, you know, following that message from Shay, and I asked the kids, you know, I said, what does this statement mean to you? You know, about the person that, you know,
right.
The kid just naturally said, he just started, one of my best kids too. He got this old man soul, but you just basically don't do whatever you basically don't do what you're supposed to do. You avoid every warning sign that's out there. Like, so no matter what anybody tells you, you're going to just do whatever you want to do.
Right.
No matter what the case may be.
Right.
Like, if it says danger, it's not even like it attaches to anything for you to be aware that, you know what, I shouldn't go there.
Yeah.
Like, and then you don't even have the awareness to understand, like, I don't have to, the stove is, that red light's on the stove. I don't have to touch it to know it's hot.
Right.
You know? So that part, and that baffles me too, Troy, like, because it's about the why. Like, how did that happen? Or how did those messages get overlooked? When we talk about people in that space, it's hard to understand, like, for me. Like, really. But I know for a fact, this is probably one of the truest messages that we've delivered that people really overlook. The fact that the warning signs are always there. These messages are always there. And the warning signs don't always mean danger. Right? It just means people giving you advice. Like people talking to you, trying to empower you. But you're just consistently overlooking the messages. So I just want to really, really emphasize that, because if we can get a hold on that and understand the power of discipline, we will be void of so many issues. Correct. We will be void of so many just individual things that we step into that we shouldn't.
Man, it's interesting that we're talking about this topic, because I've always said an undisciplined person will hurt you. Because they through their undiscipline, they really have no care for themselves.
Yeah. Yep.
So because of that, they have no care for you, man. So that's a powerful.
And you just think about it, Troy, too, because it's like internally something's missing with them too.
Yep.
Like it's like something's missing internally.
Right.
So you can't coach somebody externally that's missing it internally, because there's no connection.
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? The warnings, advice, coaching, whatever if they don't, it's internal. If that's missing there, again, that's the important part too with this conversation. What is it connecting to? Yeah. Whenever messages happen, this is why we get the light bulb that goes off. This is why when you, man, he really said that. Sometimes when you doing your services, and I'll tell you after, like, man, like that, it has to connect to something. Right. And that's an important part to understand about too. But no, I'll let you go on, but it's so true. Like, and because they will hurt you because internally something's missing.
Something is missing. Yep. Right. So now, what is the detriment of never learning discipline and continually missing all of the warning signs or advice?
The cycle of chaos. Like just that. You see people that repeat the same poor behaviors over and over again. The cycle of chaos. Because if you consistently miss your opportunities, like just naturally, because you're undisciplined, you can't be cautious. Like if you just consistently do that, right? If I keep telling you something, you keep going out there doing it wrong, like at a certain point, it's going to play a part to your own individual. Now you're just in this cycle of madness, this cycle of chaos that you can't get out of. Like it's just going to keep these behaviors that keep getting repeated over and over again until now it just becomes your identity. Wow. This is who you are. Now you really think somebody's going to trust you with the next thing? After you just prove repeatedly over and over again that you can't do anything correctly, or because what it looks like from the outsider that doesn't understand this conversation is that you just ignore me. You're not listening to what I'm saying, or you don't care about why choose you? Yeah. Why choose you? Yeah. You know, that's what it looks like from the outsider, the people that's watching. That's what it looks like, going to look like to your boss. That's what it's going to look like to your coach. To your coach, you're just going to be sitting on the bench. Right. That's what it looks like to anybody that's your mentors. At a certain point, is going to be like, no, you're incorrigible. Like you can't be helped. Like you're incorrigible. Not incorrigible, incorrigible. Like you can't be helped. Wow. Like that's what it starts to come off as when you get into this cycle of chaos of these repeated behaviors.
Wow, man. So what's the thing that will shift someone has to make if they actually want to grow?
Yep. I think a big part of that, Troy, you really got to make a shift in, like, not only your behaviors but the understanding of this, because I honestly don't think. And this is why it kind of took me back when Shay sent it to me. I don't think a lot of people understand this dynamic, what we're talking about today. They purely base it on information or the if I want to do, if they don't do it, it's just if I ain't want to do that.
Right.
You think that's what it's about, but nobody ever talked to you about the power of these habits.
Right.
So we got to start shifting how we teach, what we teach, shifting how we learn, shifting the importance of the things that we learn about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people talk to us about habits, but they never talk to us about how truly important they are.
Yeah.
And why some people have the success that they can, sustain the success that they can over such long periods of time, why some people look like they can't even get it right once. So that shift has to happen before anything. Shifting in our learning of what's important to our growth. Like I said, I don't think a lot of people understand this, how important that those words have to attach to something when we're teaching.
Right.
And if you want to grow, you got to know how valuable discipline is. So I just challenge people to make sure they're becoming a more disciplined person.
Mm-hmm.
Little by little. It could be getting on time to class.
Right.
Right. It could be getting up, making your bed every morning.
Right.
But just start with something little that gives you the ability that I can do this over and over again. And then you can start doing this thing, Troy. You stop counting on other people. I can count on myself for it.
Correct.
Because that's the point that we want to get to, the point where self-correction. I can take care of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need the other correction. I need the advice, because the advice is going to help me grow.
Yeah.
But that's the point that we eventually want to move to as individuals, self-correcting our own behaviors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now that all of that caution, all of that advice, all of that coaching and mentoring, it looks totally different.
That's correct. We one of the things that we as people, we often do when we do certain groups or things like this is we'll say, based upon audience, these are the people who are supposed to be here. We've said that a lot.
Yep.
These are the people who are supposed to be here. Yep. And I often tell people that's not true. There's some people that made a conscious decision just not to show up. You know what I mean? Because they weren't disciplined enough to make it to that particular area, that particular space.
Troy, just think about that though. Just like you were saying about the people you knew growing up, but so now we think about that. That's why it's such a deep conversation. Is it a conscious decision? You know what I'm saying? Is it because they never were taught about that everything we're teaching them sits on top of discipline?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So, like you said, those people are supposed to be here. Those people are probably the most disciplined.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know where you're going, because we know they ain't always the most talented.
Right. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we see the ability in the others and we like, why aren't you? Yeah. Right? And so it comes off as, you're supposed to be here, because of, but a lot of times it's because they're the ones, like you said, that's showing up.
Yeah.
That's where that discipline is. Yeah.
Wow. So now we've come to this part of the podcast where we got to conclude. Man, this just been a powerful conversation. We talk about this, and I know you alluded to it a little bit in the last segment about building discipline. But I wanted you to take us out, to our listeners, on maybe some steps, advice, guidance on how to truly build a solid foundation of discipline.
Yeah. So. But what we know though, Troy, too, is because a part of it is, do you want these things that we're talking about? Do you want the thing that you say you want?
Right.
Because if you don't have discipline, it's hard to kind of start truly building it and sticking with it if you don't set a goal. And I would say start with something small and start, I can reach that. I don't need to start, if I've never done push-ups, I don't need to start with trying to do 100 a day.
Right.
That's right. Like, let me try to do 5 a day.
Right.
Like, start with something small that you can actually get to. Because remember what we're talking about. And this is the thing to understand. We're talking about habits and building habits. And a lot of times it's not about the actual thing that you're doing. It's about, can you stick with it?
Yeah.
You know, it's not about as simple as making the bed is, can you just do it every day?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so start with small things. And here's the deal. It's okay to even reward yourself for the small things, right? So now you know that there is, because in real life, there is a reward attached to it. Because now you one of the people, Troy, like you said, that are there.
Right. That's right.
You know,
that's right.
That we're saying like, oh, we're the people that's supposed. You're one of the people that are there now.
Yeah.
And not one of the people that we worried about saying like, what happened to you?
That's correct.
But it starts with just those tiny things. So that's what I encourage now the audience to do. If you know you're not one of those people, but you better believe a lot of times when you're missing messages, it has nothing to do with the content. It has zero to do with if you actually want to do it or not, the actual thing. It just has to do with you were never taught discipline.
Wow.
You were never taught discipline. Here's the deal, Troy. There's a lot of things that we show up to that we don't feel like doing.
Right.
When you texted me from the gym at 3:34, it ain't like you just saying like, man, I love being in the waking up this early. Troy, right. I know how much you like to sleep.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God.
You know, but you gonna show up there.
Right. That's right.
I'm saying that's discipline. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And then you get to build off of that. So that's the thing that we're talking about. The key is to build the discipline. Start small. Start small. You will get there. Find a way to keep repeating the behaviors, even if you got to reward yourself with tiny things here and there. But that's the key. You'll see you'll see your skills, stand on top of those talents that you have, stand on top of the discipline, and they'll be able to be seen all across the world. So lock in.
Man, listeners, you've heard it here. Man, this has been a powerful conversation and powerful content. Man, who knows? It might be a part 2 to this, because it is something that is so much well needed in regards to that word discipline.
Yep.
So thank you to all of our supporters. Thank you for locking in here with More Motivation. And also a super shout out to all of our supporters of HLM. Man, just been tremendous to all of our winners. Once again, thank you so much. Families and parents as well. You can catch us, More Motivation, Spotify, Podbean, and the More Basketball website. And we are so grateful for More Motivation. Take care. Have a fabulous week.
I just want to thank my son, Kendrick Moore, for dedicating his life to helping our youth. I know it's a tough task, but keep up the good work with More Basketball Clinic. I'm proud of the man you have become. I love you.